Hello and welcome to Tea with Lilybet. Downsizing inevitably means letting go of many things to be able to fit into our smaller homes. But for many of us, it means more than just a change of residence. It's actually a change in lifestyle. And of course, as a result, you end up reconsidering items that you've had in your life for a really long time. Downsizing might have been prompted by really big life changes, such as your children leaving home or retirement. A relationship ending might be prompting the move, or in my case, it could be as simple as wanting to live a more low-maintenance lifestyle. It's been my experience that living in a smaller space does take some getting used to. Amongst other things, all your possessions are much closer together. So furniture, art, decor, even dishware that look perfectly balanced in your old place might not suit the new space so well. I know from my own experience that downsizing takes a huge amount of effort, and you can become overwhelmed by the sheer volume of the decisions that you have to make in a very short space of time about what you're going to keep and what you're going to be letting go. I've recently gone through this process myself and discovered 7 questions that you can ask yourself when deciding what you're going to keep and what you're going to let go. And I want to share those with you in this video. I'm going to mention each of these questions in the order I think that it's good to approach it. But of course, when you're doing your own downsizing, you might want to switch things around and customize this list to suit your own needs. So the very first question I asked myself about each item when I was downsizing was, do I love it? I know it sounds pretty simple, but I think it's a really important question to ask. We hang on to things that we don't necessarily love for all kinds of reasons. Sometimes it's because someone gave us the item, or it's a family heirloom, or we're just used to having it in our homes and we feel a bit guilty and wasteful for letting it go. But I promise you that moving into a smaller place is the perfect time to rethink some of those things and possibly let them go. In my old place, I actually had quite a few things that were hand-me-downs from other people. They were never my first choice, and I kind of put my home together using all of those things. Don't get me wrong, I'm extremely grateful that I was given those things, and they definitely served their purpose. But moving into this new place was a perfect opportunity for me to have a fresh, clean slate and create my own unique vision for how I wanted my home to look. And I am so happy that I decided to go down that path. Question number 2 is, do I need it? There are certain basics that we all need in our home. We need a bed, a fridge, some place to eat, such as a bench or a dining table, kitchenware, a sofa. So some of these items you may absolutely need to take with you. But there are also many items that we keep in our homes that we just never use. My view is if you haven't used it for the past year, it's probably safe to let it go. Question number 3 is, will it fit into the new space? Now this is an important one. Is it going to need to go into a corner or the center of the room? Will it fit in the space that you have in mind? Is it too large? Is it too small? Can you actually get it into the home? A lot of smaller homes and apartments have lifts, hallways, stairs, doorways that you have to manage. So that's something to really consider. Will keeping the item reduce the space that you have in that room for other things that you have or will need to acquire? One tip I recommend is before you move into your new place, if at all possible, take detailed measurements and create a bit of a floor plan so that you can use that as a guide when planning out what you're going to take with you. My sister helped me create one for this space, and it made such a difference. We could move things around on this virtual floor plan and work out where everything was going to go. And that really helped me to make some final decisions about what I kept and what I let go. In my case, I was moving from just under 100 square meters to 50 square meters. I have roughly half the space that I had in that previous place. So there were quite a few things that I had to let go before I moved out. If you've seen previous videos, you'll know that I had to let go of an armchair and an ottoman. There was a tall boy. There was office furniture. There was outdoor furniture and large plants that were never going to fit on my balcony. And there was that gigantic coffee table that I was using as my entertainment unit in my old lounge room. Now, I had always planned to let that go because there was no way I was going to be able to fit that into this space. I ended up selling it to a lovely family that have young children and really needed something tough. For me, there were some items that were a bit trickier to make those decisions about, and one of them was the chest of drawers. If you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know that it's a piece that I've had for a long time in my life. I bought it at a very happy and exciting time, so it had a lot of great memories associated with it. It was stained a dark color, and I was thinking about refinishing it and keeping it. But in the end, it was just too large for my bedroom, and it meant that it was awkward for me to change my bed linen. And I knew that was something that was going to bother me in the future. So I decided to take the tough decision and let it go. And I'm so glad I did, because the new piece that I have now is much more suited to the space. And its lighter color also created a greater sense of peace and calm when I'm in that room. Question number 4 is, will the items suit your new space? Not only do you need to consider the size and shape of your new home, but also the era that it was built in. I moved from a 2-bedroom ground floor unit that was built in the late 80s to a modern apartment that was built around 10 years ago, and it had a very different look and feel to it. You need to consider the shape of the item that you're bringing into the space. Does the new space call for something round when you have a square table, or vice versa? Does the piece dominate the space? It might not have done so in the old place, but in the new place, it might be all that you notice when you come into that room. And is that the effect that you want to have? Well, the whole issue of style is a big topic, and it's not something that I'm going to cover in this video. But let me know in the comments if you're interested in me doing a video on how I developed the style that I have now in this place. When determining whether an item will suit the new place, another question to ask is it in a good condition? If you do still love it and it will fit in the space, but it's a little bit run down, is it something that you can have refurbished? And if you're going to refurbish it, do you need to do that before you move in? I strongly considered doing that with my old round dining table. But unfortunately, that plan didn't end up panning out. The current chairs that came with that table had a really high profile, and they were never that comfortable for me to sit on. So I decided that if I was going to keep the table, I would have to replace the chairs. And I looked around at a whole lot of different chairs and settled on the chairs that I actually have now. But unfortunately, they couldn't fit under the table. The legs of the table were too narrow for them to get under. It was made by a furniture maker who lives a little bit outside of Melbourne, and it's a beautiful handmade set. So I just decided to let it go and let another family enjoy it. And then I ended up with the gorgeous square table that I have now, and I'm so happy that I made that decision. If you are going to furbish an item and it is really large, if at all possible, I would suggest you do that before you move into the new place, because it will save you the hassle and expense of moving it multiple times, and it perhaps can even be finished and ready before you move in. With smaller items, you can be a bit more flexible about the timing of refurbishing them. With this beautiful old telephone table that my sister gave me, I decided to wait. I wanted to make sure that I definitely had space for it in the apartment. It has beautiful character and charm now, so there's no rush to refinish it. Question number 6 is, do you have something better that will meet the same purpose? Perhaps you're moving from a space that had 2 eating areas to only having 1 dining space, and there might be 2 tables that you have to choose from. The first priority, of course, is to choose something that fits the new space the best. But if the 2 items are quite similar, I would encourage you to pick the one that's the better quality. You may also decide to replace a piece of furniture with something that's built in, which is what I did with my storage cupboard. I had to let go of that lovely console table that I had for many years. I needed to have a storage cabinet to put all of my musical equipment. I knew about this well and truly before I moved in, but I just utilized the console table in the meantime so that I had some time to find the right people to design and build the storage cabinet. It was hard to let it go, but the storage cabinet has been essential to my new life here and running my small business from home. Once again, I let it go to a beautiful family, and I'm sure that they're really enjoying it. Before I move on to the final point, I'd like to tell you about a new blog that I've created on Substack to go along with this channel called A Few Little Things. I'm going to be publishing companion pieces to my YouTube videos and also exploring some of the topics that I cover in my videos in more depth. So if you're interested in engaging with me there, I would love to welcome you to that platform. It's completely free. All you need to do is follow the link that I'll leave below this video. Inside one of the articles, you'll see a prompt to subscribe. Just enter your email address, and then whenever I publish a new article, you'll receive it straight into your inbox. And of course, you can unsubscribe at any time. Right now, I've got a couple of articles ready and waiting for you to read, or you can listen to the voiceovers. And one of them is an article called Be Brave and Trust Your Instincts When Styling Your Space, How Heartbreak, Illness, and COVID Lockdowns Led to Overcoming Style Shaming and Finding Inspiration to Create My Perfect Little Home. So I hope that you enjoy exploring my new Substack. Thanks for listening, and now we'll continue with the video. Question number 7 is, what are my non-negotiable items? Now, it's really important to ask yourself this question well and truly before you even decide what home you're going to be moving into. When I went looking for properties, I had a list of firm non-negotiables that I took with me. And if any one of those items couldn't get into the new place, I didn't consider it. The first thing on my list was making sure that my cat and all her paraphernalia could get into this apartment. Now, sadly, she has since passed away, but I had her here for 5 months, and there was no way I was going to move into a place that didn't suit both of us. I needed to have a space in the bathroom for her litter box. I needed space in the kitchen or the living area for her food bowls, and I also needed a safe outdoor space for her. In this case, I chose a balcony she couldn't fall from, she couldn't escape or injure herself, and I felt comfortable with her laying out there in the sun and enjoying herself. My second non-negotiable item was my piano. That's a piece that's been in my family since 1980. It was passed to me on my 30th birthday, and I absolutely treasure it, not only as a musician, but also as just a beautiful piece of furniture. I did look at places that had big bedrooms or hallways that the piano could go into. So I was a bit flexible about where it could go in the place, but I just had to make sure I could get it in there. Another absolute essential was for me to get all my musical equipment into this place. I run a music therapy business, and I have guitars and keyboards and all kinds of electronic and percussion instruments that I need to take with me to clients. So I needed to have a space either inside the apartment or in a secure dry storage area on the same property that I could store those things. When I saw this living space, it was just one big rectangle, and I could see straight away that there was an opportunity for me to build storage in this space to be able to accommodate all those instruments, and it's worked out really well. And the final things on my non-negotiable list were my bed and bedside table. I had recently bought those items. They were very high quality, and I chose them very carefully. My thinking was also that if a bedroom couldn't accommodate a queen-size bed and a bedside table, it was probably going to feel too small and constrictive to me anyway. So I didn't find it limiting that they were non-negotiables. So what do you do if the answer to any of those 7 questions is no? Well, that's a big topic in itself, and I'll be sharing those tips with you in my next video. So if you haven't already subscribed, please hit the bell so that you get notified when that video comes out. I hope that you got some value out of this video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help my channel. And if you have some downsizing tips that I haven't covered, please share them in the comments so that we can all continue learning together. So thanks for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.